Hey, beautiful friends. It's been a while. Welcome back to another episode of the Meant to Bloom podcast. I am your host, Brittany Clarkson. I'm happy you're here. Um, we ha- it's been a time. Okay, my video recording is super laggy, so I'm just gonna close that real fast. I don't want to watch myself if it's gonna be just lagging the whole time. That's super annoying. Okay, so. Welcome. It's been a while since I've uploaded. I had so many big plans. I just had a lot of hopes and ambitions. I had a lot of content planned out. And then just life caught up to me. Not even life, just, I didn't know. Okay. I don't know how to say all this. Um, if you've been following along, um, this is a podcast created to be personal growth for hot mess moms. I am what I considered a recovered hot mess. Um, I'd really found this great mindset and everything was working for me. But also, if you've been around a long time, you know that I struggle with depression. And, it's depression, it's anxiety, some symptoms of OCD, and depersonalization disorder have also started becoming more present. I think they are just tied back to the depression though. But depression got pretty bad. And I have also in the last 6 months developed a chronic illness. Um, so that's fun. It's physical pain throughout the entire body. A pain disorder, I guess, is what it is. Chronic pain disorder, that's what it is. Chronic pain disorder. We're pretty sure at this point that it's fibromyalgia, which my mother has. So, I know I have experience with it and I watched it my whole, not my whole life, but the majority of my life I watched my mom struggle with it and try different treatments. And I've seen her do great and I've seen her do terrible. And that really correlates and ties in with depression as well. And I just realized my dog's in the room with me. I didn't know she was in here. She was sleeping. But things got really rough this last little while, and specifically in the last month, things got just pretty bad. Mostly pretty bad mentally. Physically, I feel like I can handle things. I feel like I can strive through pain and take a day off, but it's it just completely shook my worldview and my entire expectations of things. And I didn't know how to show up and teach on all of the things that had helped me the last time I was so depressed when I wasn't currently doing those things. I didn't know how to show up and talk to you without being an absolute, just downer. Misery loves its company, and I really didn't want to share. And I think that kind of made things a little bit worse because I really wanted to show up and I didn't know how to show up, and it even made me feel more like a failure and a fraud. And I know now that I'm kind of coming on the other side of things that that's not true. Just because you don't have everything figured out doesn't mean that you're a failure. You can help someone with things that you still also struggle with without being a fraud. We can be learning together. And, I just felt like it was time to really come talk to you. And I miss showing up, and I still have a lot that I want to do. A lot that I want to say, a lot that I want to record for you guys. I've been working on the Unblocked Joy course, which has been, written and everything, but I just couldn't come on camera. I had that block. I couldn't do it. It felt very ingenuine to sit here and record on how to overcome negative thoughts when I wasn't using the tools myself to overcome mine. So now, I've kind of started getting some wisdom tidbits coming back up. Things that if I need to be reminded of them, maybe so do you. Uh, yeah, there's just some things. Like for instance, have you ever gone to a hang a picture or frame, hang some decor on the wall, and instead of going into the closet or the garage or whatever and getting your perfectly good hammer out of your toolbox, you just kind of get lazy and you just grab whatever's nearby and you use it, and maybe it kind of works, maybe it doesn't at all work. Like you ever pounded just a nail in with a shoe? You ever just used a thumbtack to hang decor instead of doing it the right way? Like you might have all the tools to do it the right way. You might have all the knowledge of how to do it the right way, but you still choose to do it the easy way, the wrong way, the shortcut way. And then like the picture doesn't work. Maybe it hangs up for a little while, but eventually it's going to fall down because it wasn't created to, thumbtack's not created to sustain the weight of that artwork. So, I mean, that's kind of metaphorically what I did and what I think some of us do. Like, you have the most expensive tools. You can have wonderful tools that work so well. Metaphorically, you can have a perfectly curated toolbox of, mental health tools, stress management tools. And if you put them in a closet and do not use them, and instead take the shortcuts to cover up whatever's bothering you, shove it in a closet, lock it away, it's not going to work, right? Like the tools are only going to help you if you're going to use them. So lesson learned. We all fall down sometimes. And I mean, some of us, I think, know at this point, like we need to be diligent. We need to be on top of things. We need to be constantly looking out for our own well-being and our own mental health, or it will all come crashing down on us eventually. It's kind of like sweeping things under the rug, right? If you're actually cleaning a room and you sweep all the dust and junk under a rug, what is eventually going to happen to that? Instead of getting out your perfectly good vacuum and doing the work and cleaning it up the right way, you sweep it under the rug. Eventually it's going to start seeping up through the rug, and now your rug is dirty and you're going to have to actually like deep clean your rug at the same time instead of just having vacuumed it up to begin with. Now metaphorically, this all correlates to, the stress and the traumas that we experience in life. If you sweep them under the rug, it's going to come back up and it's going to be harder to clean. It's going to be a bigger mess than what you started with. If you take everything and you shove it in a closet, in a sitcom, it's hilarious when a stuffed closet falls down on top of the main character and whatever. It's not as fun. It's not as funny. It's not as entertaining and enjoyable when this is happening to you metaphorically, and everything that you have shoved in a closet instead of dealing with has come crashing down on top of you. So, fun stuff. If you're resonating with this, just know you're not alone. We all do this sometimes. We really do. And so here's one big kind of hang up that I had realized. One of my flaws that has kind of helped to curate this wonderful, horrible mess that I'm in. It's healing versus growth. Okay? Once upon a time, I knew I was, broken. I needed to heal. I had trauma. I needed to heal. So I healed. And then I got obsessed with healing. And what it did was it caused me to keep reopening wounds that I had already closed in order to heal them again, to, make sure it was all healed correctly. When sometimes, you heal and it's good enough and you need to leave it. When you heal, you are healed. You're done. Don't open it back up. And so I just kept getting in this cycle of healing and healing and healing. which meant I kept hurting myself in order to heal. Pulling up the Band-Aid to make sure that there's no infection, metaphorically, right? Re-breaking bones so to make sure that they're set properly when they heal, metaphorically, which sometimes that's necessary. But also, like, if it healed right the first time, we need to just move on. Okay? And so after you have healed, you transition into growth. And this is when we start really looking at, how are you caring for yourself? Are you flourishing? Are you blooming? Are you, really tapping into like the abundance that's possible for your life? Are you becoming the best version of yourself that you can be? That's growth, and that's a wonderful place to be. But there's a time for each. And here's the thing. I had been obsessed with healing. And then finally I learned, and it ended up hurting me. I was hurting myself just to heal again. And then I became obsessed with growth. And I forgot that even after you've healed, even after you've shifted into growth, sometimes you have to intentionally go back and heal again. Not from the old wounds, from new things, because life is rough. We go through stuff. There is trauma, there is stress, there's pain and there's hurt all the time. And you can't just shove it in a closet and keep trying to grow when, you've got this rot happening. All right. It's like, I don't know. It's like I was trying to get like all the manure to be a fertilizer to help me grow. Like I was trying to plant seeds in the manure and, grow through what you go through. But the manure was like inside an open wound and I needed to clean it out and get rid of it so that make the wound heal. And then I needed to go out to the garden and start growing again, right? Like it's two different things. And if you're obsessed with one, you cannot, healing and growth are not synonymous. They're not the same thing. They're not interchangeable. Some of the activities overlap for sure. But it's not the same. Confronting the demons is not the same as fertilizing your garden. It's not the same as pruning what's not working for you. It's not the same, right? So sometimes you have to pause the growth on purpose in order to focus on the healing, whether it's an old wound or a new wound. You have to stop and you have to amend the soil. And you have to align with the seasons. And you have to prune what needs to be pruned. And then you make room for growth again. Then you have a safe environment for growth again. You can't just ignore what needs to be healed and keep pushing forward trying to be your best self, because that best self is not going to carry any guilt or shame or pain or sadness. Like the fear for one. Fear's a big one. You're not going to carry the fear and the trauma into that season of growth. You've got to amend that. And you have to confront that, and you have to heal when you have to heal. And there is no shame in having to heal. It's a normal part of life to have to go back and heal again. And sometimes it has to be rehealing the same thing, but a lot of times it's just rehealing a new thing that's really similar to the old thing. But the good news is you've done it before. You've always bounced back, right? I've always bounced back from this. As deep of a hole as I can get into, like, I've crawled out. All right. This time I forgot to build a ladder, or I forgot to build a bridge. This time I forgot to build a bridge. I feel like I forgot to even build a ladder, and I've just clawed my way back up, up to the surface. If you're not familiar with that concept, like 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I wanted to end my life back in 2020 in June. That's kind of where this whole podcast came from. So if you didn't go back and listen to the very beginning, that's where it came from. That's where all of Mint to Bloom was born out of, was this time where I really thought I was going to end my life. I was not managing my stress correctly. I was not caring for myself correctly. And it was really a time where I needed to shift into growth because I'd become stagnant and I just listened to the negative voices in my head. I just listened to imposter syndrome so much and I really just felt like I couldn't do it. And I decided that day that I was not going to end things, that I was going to stay. But if I'm going to stay, I had to change my daily habits. I had to change the way I was showing up. I had to change my mindset. I had to create a more sustainable life for myself. I couldn't keep sweeping things under the rug. I couldn't keep thinking the negative thoughts I was thinking because I wasn't going to make it. Right? And so it was in that moment of deciding not to let go. It was in that moment of surrendering that I kind of realized how I needed to change things. Like, I knew what I needed to do. I'd been in therapy so many times before. I was like, I know the things I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just not doing them. Here I am again 5 years later. I know the things I'm supposed to do, and I just wasn't doing them. And some of that was that I didn't realize I needed to go back to the healing process instead of focusing on the growth. Kind of forgot where I was going with that, why I brought that up. But apparently it was important to say. So yeah, there was in that time when I learned, I decided I was going to stay and I was going to do the things, ladders, bridges. That's why I mentioned it. What I realized before was I was in that depression cycle 5 years ago and I just kept getting depressed and then I kept getting okay. And then I kept getting depressed and I kept, getting okay. Like, I was just in this revolving door of depressive episodes. And I was not creating this like sustainable pattern that would help keep me up. And the thing that I realized I was doing was I was using all of these tools that I had gotten from therapists and from, self-help books and from personal experience and from stress management, process management tools, whatever. And I was using all those things to build a ladder every time I got into that low place of depression. And I was building this ladder to climb out. And it was in that time 5 years ago that I decided I'm going to stop building ladders. I'm going to start building bridges. I'm going to take the same tools and I'm going to use them before I fall in the pit. And I'm going to carefully cross the pit. I'm going to take those depressive episodes and I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be mindful. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing and I'm going to make sure that I don't fall off again. Like I can walk a bridge across the pit. We can pause, we can slow down, be careful, all of this. And I can use those same tools to build a bridge instead of a ladder. Because, gosh, crossing a pit on a bridge is a lot more comfortable. It's a lot better than falling in the pit and then climbing out a ladder, right? Falling hurts. We wanted to avoid falling. That's why I brought that up. Bridges and ladders. And so this time it's like I didn't even turn to my tools for my ladder. I just crawled my way back up and was like, what am I supposed to be doing? I made things harder than I needed to be. And honestly, it was like the apathy. The apathy had a hold on me. But today there's sunshine, and sunshine really makes it easier to fight the apathy. Makes it easier to find, to just kind of gather the positivity into myself. Instead of feeling like I'm just drowning or floating or being crushed by the weight of everything. I would not say that I'm completely over it. Would not say I'm completely healed. I am still in a depressive episode. I can tell you that right now. So I'm kind of healing that right now. Healing it. And then we'll come back to growth. But part of the whole concept of this personal growth for hot mess moms was that not all of us are just ready to become our best selves. I've done a lot of talking on how we need to take care of our basic needs. Sleep, nutritious foods, drink plenty of water. Just your basic human needs. And, yeah, I'll admit, I'm a hypocrite. I don't always practice what I preach. And every time I don't, it comes back to bite me in the butt. But you know what? I am honest. I am honest, and I do have integrity, which is why I'm here right now, spilling all the beans. Spill the beans, spill the tea. Um, being completely honest with where I'm at, because I finally feel like I'm in a place where I can share where I am without just being like depressed. Because I don't want to share that feeling of depression with you, but I will share the insights of like a depressive episode and symptomatic, and like here's my experience and here's what I'm doing, like specifically what I've been doing. That's a good question. Great question. Specifically what I've been doing in the last couple weeks, I decided to do nothing. I did not lower the bar. I dropped it completely to the floor and was like, I'm taking things one day at a time. My sole purpose for like 2 weeks straight was just survive. Just hold on. I was also to not share negativity while also being clear about like, I'm having these feelings, like in a safe conversation with my husband, telling him like, I feel like, you know, I feel like I don't want to be here anymore. And so I had to have these kinds of conversations, and but I've really just been focusing on taking things one day at a time. During that time, baby, I'm on camera. Shh. Okay. Okay. I will come take care of you guys in a minute, okay? I love you. Nope, don't come on camera. I love you. You stay over here. I'll give you a kiss. Don't come on camera, okay? I love you. I'll be down in a couple minutes. Almost. I love you, sugar pie. Hey, go get dressed to go to the party. Where was I? Taking things one day at a time. It's really what I did to survive. I didn't really prioritize my needs. I didn't prioritize decluttering any spaces. I wasn't trying to make myself feel better, but I was making that commitment to stay another day, to keep holding on. I avoided anything. I avoided being alone. I really did. I think that's one of the best things you can do when you're feeling that way, is just don't be alone. Just don't be alone. And hold on to those mantras of, you know, like, you don't have to do anything. And guess what? During the times when you don't do anything, you can show up in life for a whole day and not complete a single thing. Not wash a single dish, not cook a single meal, not vacuum a floor. You don't have to shower. You don't have to do anything. You can wear your pajamas all day. You can sit and you can play Stardew Valley on your phone, and you can watch Gilmore Girls all day long. And your value is still the same as the day where you get up and you clean the whole house top to bottom, and you make a trip to the thrift store with a full back trunk of your car of all the things you're decluttering because you're letting go of everything you don't need. You can make sourdough from scratch, and then you can make a whole complete dinner for your whole family, perfectly balanced. And, you know, then you can scrub the toilets and change the cat box. You can completely sanitize every square inch of your house. You can take an everything shower, shave your legs. You can rock your husband's world in the bedroom. You can do all that in one day too. And the value of you remains the same on both of those days. Even if it's weeks, even if it's multiple days in a row that you are not doing anything, you are simply existing, your value is exactly the same as the days where you do things. Okay? I'm going to leave you with that. That feels like a good spot. I'm going to go take my kids to the garden center right now. We're going to leave and we're going to go buy seeds and plant starts, and we're going to go plant our garden. because that's something I've really enjoyed doing. That's something that they enjoy doing. We like to do this together. It's the right time of year. It's a sunny, beautiful day. Um, and I need to get out of the house and I need to do things. Um, and that sort of next phase of healing is forcing yourself to do things that you once loved to do, even if you do not feel like doing them right now. We're just going to ride the roller coaster and we're going to use momentum where we have momentum and we're going to keep on moving, even if, we're just going to keep holding on, even if we're not always moving forward. All right, my dear friend, I love you. Please take care of yourself. And again, do as I teach, not as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. Do better to take care of yourself than I have done. Okay? I love you so much, and always you can reach out to me. I'm here. I'm here. I get it. So, all right. Love you. Bye.